Okay, I am back. Where are my little artists? I'm so sorry for the tech problems that we just had. This is something that is quite common sometimes when you're doing a Facebook Live. So thank you so much for hanging in there. I'm going to go right ahead and kind of continue where I left off, but I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I'm just going to wait until people join. I know I'm a little late getting started. So number one, I totally appreciate all of those people showing up. Tiffany's here, yes. So grab those kids, come back to your computer screen, and let's create some art. Hello, Julie. Yes, we're here. We're back. Sometimes for all of you people out there who are making it happen, all of you studio owners who are going live to all of your students, all of those teachers who are going live to your kids. Sometimes these things can happen, and I want to give you one tip. Be flexible and restart all your devices. And sometimes that kind of kickstarts all of the internet. So Team Sparkle and I, we've just been kind of rebooting everything, but we changed our format. But I'm going to draw on a vertical surface now, which is kind of like just being in the classroom. So I'm so excited. So hello, Lydia and Clyde and Clayton are here from Colorado. Hello. I'm so glad you're all back. What we're going to do, I'm going to start from the very beginning. We are going to be drawing this really cute little chameleon. And you might recognize him from the last video. I'm going to do him again because I know that a lot of you guys didn't get to see him. And it's from this book. This Leone, I can't even say the name together. Leone. Yeah, A Color of His Own. I love this book. And I love all of the colors inside the book. And so I'm going to show you pictures of this a little bit later. Then, kiddos, we are going to make a bigger chameleon. Look how big this guy is. Now, I want you to look at how tiny his head is. It looks like he ate a lot of insects. Yes, he's very healthy. Now, here's the funny thing. Chameleons really aren't that big. So I'm going to show you a secret to make your chameleon look a little bit smaller, even though you're drawing him really big. So I'll share that secret with you a little bit later. Now, kiddos, we are going to be using watercolor paints. So if you have watercolor paints like this is what we're going to be using to paint both of our chameleons. The simple chameleon like this one, and the bigger chameleon like this one. We're all going to start drawing this one because I think it's a really good practice to start off with a few simple lines and a simple watercolor. So we'll do that together. But kids, if you don't have watercolors at home, that's okay too. I drew this chameleon with a marker, and I just used a Sharpie marker, and I colored it with crayons. So you might have crayons that look like this. So if you have a bunch of crayons, you guys are in great shape. And if you have, let me see, where are my oil pastels? I'm not sure where they are. They kind of, oh, they got hidden under my book. Sometimes that happens. So here are my oil pastels. I'm going to be using oil pastel because I love oil pastels. They definitely make my hands turn different colors, but I love that. Now, before I get started, I just want to give a little shout out to Micah, who is 7 years old, and he joined me yesterday, and look at his setup. Can you believe that beautiful art setup? He's on his floor, he has a huge roll of paper, and he is ready to create art for the day. So Micah, you did such a great job with that turtle. Maggie, who is 6, and Molly, who is 8, they joined me yesterday, and they created the beautiful sea turtles. I just love all of that aqua green and that lilac purple. Such a good job, girls. Gavin, who is 5, and his brother Connor, who is 7, look at what they created. Look at those sea turtles. Now, if you want to create the sea turtles, you can go back and you can do the draw along, the paint along from yesterday's video. It's right on this Deep Space Sparkle page, so you can do that. And look at Mari. Mari is 4 years old, and she got out her oil pastels and her watercolor paints and painted the most beautiful sea turtle. The Tompkinson sisters were with us as well. Look at those. I love those pink flippers, I have to say. I'm kind of partial to those. Now, I want to give a shout out to a mom, Stephanie, who did some art with her son. And look at all those patterns and colors. So guys, thank you so much for sharing all of your art with me yesterday. And if you follow along with me today, I would love to see all of your art again. All you have to do is at the end of your session, when you finish your art, just get your mom or your adult that's around to take a picture of you and just post it right in the comment section of this post. So the first thing we're going to do is draw our chameleon. So I want you to get out an oil pastel or a crayon. So this is what an oil pastel looks like. It's just like this. It's kind of like those kind of chunky little crayons. Or if you have a crayon, that's good too. I like using black because I really like to see my lines, but you can use any color you want. And I'm going to use a paper that looks like this. So it's not too heavy, and it's about 12 inches by 9 inches. Now I'm going to put that right up here. Right here. And can you guys see that? Okay, actually I'm going to take this one off. And I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to make a little line. Here is the outside of my paper, because I have a white background and my paper is white, so it's kind of hard to see all the different edges. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is fold your paper in half. So you're taking the bottom section and folding it up. Do you guys know why I want you to do that? It's so helpful to know where the middle of the paper is, because the middle of the paper is where I want you to place your finger, so your pointer finger, and I want you to put it right close to the edge of the paper, and I want you to make a dot. So it's right on the fold line, close to the side of the paper. Now I'm going to fold this back. There you go. Then I want to draw a line that goes up, 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 and another line that goes down, down, down. So it looks like it's an arrow pointing towards my hand. So go ahead, if you're following along with me, go ahead and draw the arrow. Start with a dot and make a line going up and making a line going down. That is the chameleon's little nose. So you're almost there. You got the head done. Okay, now what I want you to do is put your oil pastel, your crayon, your marker, whatever you're using at home, and I want you to put it on the bottom of your head, and I want you to draw a line that goes along the bottom, but not quite. Look how many fingers I can fit in between my bottom of my belly and the bottom of the paper. And then I want you to go up, 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 almost to the top of the paper, and I want you to make a nice big tail that goes around and in. Look at that. That's the curly tail. Can you see the tail? It goes, this line goes up, 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 and then down and around. Okay, go ahead and finish that. And I'm just going to say welcome to all of these people who are showing up. Kenneth is here, and Leah and Luna. Kushi's here, and Nathaniel. I'm so glad Hunter and AJ are back. Awesome, guys. Okay, go ahead and finish the tail, and then we're going to connect all the pieces together. And this part you kind of want to go a little bit slower with. So the first step we're going to do, you guys all ready? Hold up your oil pastel if you're ready. Okay, that's good. Okay, now I'm going to make a little line that goes just down like that. It's kind of a weird little line, but it just kind of makes the head more prominent. It shows up a little bit more. Then I'm going to take my oil pastel and I'm going to draw a line straight across, but when I get close to my tail, I'm going to go down, 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 and then this is the part that I want you to just watch me first. I'm going to go around and I'm going to follow that curve line. I'm following it, I'm following it. It's like following a road. And I'm going to go around until I see the end of the line, and I'm going to join it up. Wasn't that fun? It's like driving a car. You're following the curve. Not that you're driving cars, and I totally get that, but maybe like your tricycle, your bike, and you want to join it up. So now we have the body, the tail, and the head. Okay, now what I want to do is draw 4 legs. So I'm going to draw one leg here. Those are 2 lines. Another leg here, 2 in the front, and then I'm going to stop. Now I want you guys to catch up. So you're going to finish drawing your tail, and then you're going to draw 4 legs. So it's basically 2 lines for every leg. And then we'll add the little feet, the little claws. Mustafa is here, and Shahir, sorry about that. Hello, Jill. I'm glad you're here too. Arthur's here, and Douglas, and Imogen. I'm probably not saying that the right way. I love that name. There was a famous literary character. I'm trying to think about which book it was. So welcome, everyone. Okay, did you guys do your legs? The next thing we're going to do is the little tiny feet. I'm trying to fit 4 toes. You might be able to fit more toes in than me. I'm not really sure how many toes a chameleon has. Maybe if I look at this book. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. See this book? Okay, and I'm going to try to finish this up. And then I want to make his eyes, and his eyes go right below that line here. It's a big circle, and then a circle inside, and you can color that in. That's his eye. Now, to make the mouth, look at this little guy. You want to make a line that starts right at the tip, that pointy part that we drew. And we're going to draw a line that goes straight over. Now, I want to point out a few things. The first one I did, he was pretty happy. And then I did one, and he looked a little sad. So you can decide what kind of smile your chameleon will have. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to make him smiley. Now, I want to show you a few pictures from a book I love. This is a book called A Color of His Own. And while you're finishing the drawing, I just want to show you all the different colors in the book. It's like one of my favorite books because I love all the beautiful bright colors and the greens and the pinks and the periwinkles and all the bright reds and pinks. But look at this picture at the end. So poor little chameleon, he wanted to be better than black. He wanted to be a color all of his own. So he joined with a friend, and now he's green, and then he's purple, he's orange. But look at this one. He's now a polka dot because he sat on top of a toadstool. And so he's red and white polka dot. I'm showing you this picture, kids, because you can now decorate your chameleon. And if you want to make polka dots or stripes or maybe another pattern, maybe you're coloring with some crayons and you want to add some different polka dot colors or stripes, whatever you want, you can add that now. So I think I'm going to add a few polka dots because I love polka dots. I also love stripes. So you can decide how you want to color your chameleon. Isn't he cute? I think he's very, very fancy looking with all those polka dots. Okay, now you go ahead and finish decorating and adding all the details to your chameleon. And if you're ready, I know you might not be right yet, we're going to start painting. So I have my paints here, but if you don't have paints, that's okay. You can use markers, crayons, colored pencils, anything that you have. Okay. He was here from Ottawa. You're a little late, but you're not late, really. Believe me, you're not late. So welcome 4 kids. That's awesome. So we're starting with the kind of like the chameleon that looks like this. And then, guys, we're going to move into a chameleon that looks like this. This is going to take a little bit more time. Okay, so I'm using a big brush. If you have like a container of water like this, that's all you need, or a glass or a teacup filled with water. But look how big my paintbrush is. So a regular size paintbrush looks kind of like that. The bigger the paintbrush, the more paint that it will hold. So that's why I'm using a big brush. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to paint the insides of my polka dots. Now it might drip because I'm on a vertical surface. you're probably not on a vertical surface. You might be working on your kitchen table or your dining room table. You might be working on your floor. So your paper or your paint's not going to drip as much as mine. And that's good. If mine drips, I know, it's just one of those things. Okay, so I'm going to keep on adding. You want to clean your brush, and I'll show you. I get a little lazy. I don't like to clean my brush because I just want to like put all the paint on like as fast as I can. But to clean your brush, just dab your paintbrush in the bottom of the container and then just brush or dribble your paintbrush across the rim, and that should get rid of enough water. And then you're back in business. You can then mix up your colors. So I like to take my brush and I like to go around and around and around until I see the color on my brush. Can you see that? You can see a little bit of the yellow. And then I know that I'm going to have a lot of color to paint with. Just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to clean my brush again. And I think I'm going to use this really pretty green. It's like a Kelly green. So I'm going to go around and around and around. Sometimes if your paint feels a little goopy, just tap your brush. But this looks really good. And now I'm not going to start with the tail because it's kind of tricky. I'm not really sure which part's the tail. So I'm going to start with the head and I'm going to just paint. I'm going to just add a little bit more tape. Here, put it up like this. Now it's not going to move as much. I hope you're all having a really nice day. It's a nice day in California where I'm from, where I'm living. I noticed that there's some kids from Ottawa. So my family is from Prince Edward Island. So that's really close to where you guys are, comparatively speaking. And I go back home to Prince Edward Island every summer. And that's where my family lives and my husband's family. So I wonder if there's any other Canadians here. So I'm going to go around my polka dots. You have to kind of go a little slower around a colored area. So you go slow around the outside and the inside, and then you can go a little faster on the inside, just like that. If your paint is feeling a little sticky or it looks a little dry, like if you're starting to see your brush strokes, then that means you just need to add a little bit more water to your brush. So you want to dip your paintbrush in the water, almost like giving your paintbrush a bath. Just dip in and dip out and just drag. You just want to make sure that he's nice and damp. He has a little bit of water. Okay, so now I'm going to go around here. I'm making my way up the tail. And because he's a chameleon and he likes a lot of colors, I'm going to do a new color now. I'm going to take a little turquoise. So you might have a different color in your palette. And I'm going to start adding a little bit of a different color. His green is getting a little darker. And I'm going to go around. Now I'm going to very carefully follow around that tail because the last time I got a little confused. Okay. And I'm going to take a little more of the light green and layer it on top. Just because I can. Watercolors love to be mixed together. So now I'm going to paint the toes and the legs. And I'm done. Okay, kids, I'll show you what I've finished. Here it is. Here's my polka dot chameleon. So I can't wait to see what you guys do. So while you're finishing up your painting, I'm going to get set up for the big chameleon. So I'm going to use a much bigger piece of paper because I want to use my whole sheet to really, let me see, I think that's just about high enough. I'm going to put it between these two lines so you can see what I'm doing. Let's see. I'm going to put a piece of tape on the bottom. So you guys go ahead and finish up. I wonder how the connection is because we started at 10, but the connection was so bad. we're kind of figure like we've never really had it happen that poorly before. The connection was just crazy. Like it just wouldn't play anything. So sorry for all of those hundreds of people who showed up and it wasn't working. But hopefully it's working now. We kind of limited the number of cameras. Hey, someone's here from New Brunswick. Nice. So welcome. We are practically neighbors, right? Yeah, and there's some Canadian kids or California kids here. Millie and Owen and Jude are here. Okay, so now I am on to my big sheet of paper. Look at that. I'm outlining this so you can see the top, the sides, and the bottom. Okay, that's how big it is. Now, I want to show you guys a book. As soon as I find it, I'm not going away. I'm right here. Here it is. This is one of my favorite books to kind of get inspired by. This is the book that encouraged me to try a painting lessons for an iguana or a chameleon, because I'm not fond of reptiles, even though we did own a bearded dragon once. Yes, we did. My sons wanted a bearded dragon. We called him Liz, her Liz, and she was quite the thing. So I found this book and I thought, oh, look at all the colors. So when you open up this book, I just love the illustrations, and they're by a lady named Sue Shields. But just look at, let me move over here, all of the illustrations of these amazing chameleons. So think about the possibilities. I'm wondering if any kid who's watching, if you are using watercolor paper, because if you're using watercolor paper, there are so many possibilities of adding all of these tiny little dots and all these colors that blend together. Just take a look at all of the different eyes and like all of the different stripes and the patterns and the little dots. Look at the background color and the color on top. Look at this guy's nose. Good grief. Look at the arms and all the different colors in the arms. I just think he's like the cutest little guy. Isn't he cute? And look at the white. That just means you don't have to paint that area. So if you want white in your painting, you don't have to paint an area. So I thought that book, you could probably get this from your library when it opens up again, because this is a really fun book to have if you really like chameleons. So, okay. So Jessica's here from San Francisco. Oh, this is awesome. So many people from all over the place. Someone from Bristol in the UK. Nice. Okay. I'm going to take my oil pastel again. It is my favorite drawing tool of choice because I get to draw nice and big. Now what I want to do, I'm going to follow this outline right here. So here's my big chameleon. So if you have a nice big sheet of paper, or even if you have a smaller sheet of paper, what you want to do is make sure that you put it this way. You can do it this way, this horizontal viewpoint, to make your chameleon longer if you want to do that. I'm going to use the vertical format so that I can start at the top and work my way down. So you guys decide. So go ahead and position your paper exactly how you want it. See, it can either be tall or wide. I'm going to go for tall. Now, imagine that there's a line down the middle of your paper. And I'm not even going to imagine it. I'm just going to literally put a good big line there. You want your head to start on this side of the line. If you start your head on this side of the line and then you have your back, you're going to kind of squish up the chameleon. It's going to be harder to fit him in. So we're going to start with the eyeball. Whenever I make a drawing, I always like to start with the eye. It seems to be a little bit easier. Then what I want to do next is draw a line behind the eye, and it goes from the top down. So it's almost as long as your finger, see? And that's the back of the head. Now my chameleon is not going to be fancy. You can make yours as fancy as you want. So the first part is the eye, the second part is the back of the head, and now we're going to connect it. So very slowly go to the front of the eye and then make a point and then go right across kind of like flat underneath the eye, and that's his little mouth. Then go back to the front of his nose, and then just draw a line that goes to the back of the head. So it kind of looks like a sideways letter U. You see that? That's the head. So go ahead and draw the head. Notice how his nose is almost touching the edge of the paper. That's what we want. Okay, guys, we have an eye, we have a mouth, that's awesome, and we have the head. So we are in good shape. Now what we want to do is I want you to take your finger, and I want you to put your finger on the back of his head, and I want you to see how that line is going to come around into a tail. So we're going to draw the back of the chameleon, and it kind of starts to come around. It's like a big, huge curve. And then right around, you're going to have a lot of space at the bottom of the paper. Right around here, the tail is going to go up, and then we're going to stop. So by doing that a couple of times, your eye knows where to go. So now I'm just going to put my oil pastel on the paper. I'm going to come down, and then I'm going to come around, and then up. When I get to here, I'm going to stop. I'm going to add the curl of the tail a little bit later, but right now I want to get the big arched rounded back of the chameleon. So go ahead and do that, and I'll let you finish, and then we're going to do something weird. We're not going to finish the tail, we're actually going to put the legs in. Okay, so go ahead, finish up the tail, and give me a little thumbs up or a heart when you're finished and ready to move on. If there's any questions, I think we're all good. Isn't this fun and calming to do this today? One of my favorite things is to just sit and draw and paint, and hopefully you'll get a chance to do that today. Okay, guys, let me know if you're ready to move on. I think you might be. Okay, good. Now, the little arms are a little tricky. Now, I first want to point out, let me see if my book's close by. The arms and legs, they really aren't that big, okay? They're kind of small. Given the proportion of that big, huge back, you think they would need like a really strong legs and arms to hold them up, but they're actually kind of tiny. So here's what we're gonna do. I want you to start with the bottom part of the arm or the front leg. And it's kind of like a long, skinny letter U. And then it has this little flat, like padded fingers, but I'm just drawing two. And then when you do that, draw another line this way. And it's kind of like you can see that the articulation or the bend of the arm. So draw this part first, and it's just kind of, it ends right underneath the chin. So it's pretty close to the chin. And then this part is where the top of the arm is. Go ahead and do that. And then the bottom leg, it's really, it kind of goes in the opposite direction. So we're gonna draw the feet first, the little padded feet, they're so cute, and then make a line that goes up, and then a line that comes around. It's like a little chicken leg, like a thigh bone. Drumstick, that's what I'm trying to think of. Okay, so I have the front leg and I have the back leg, and that's all the legs that we're going to see from our chameleon. So go ahead and finish that. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my oil pastel and I'm going to put it right behind the neck, close to the chin. And what I want to do is draw the belly. So I'm going to come down towards the arm, hop over the arm, come down, hop over the leg, and come out the other side. And this time, this is when I'm going to finish the tail. So just keep watching. And if you want the tail to curve around, just go ahead and extend that. Then what you'll need to do is take the other part of the tail and meet the tip, just like that. So now I have my whole chameleon. So go ahead and finish your chameleon. And now we're gonna add some flowers. We're gonna add the tree branch that he's kind of holding onto. because right now he looks like he's just slinging through the air. So we need to ground him somehow. So go ahead and finish. Quinley's here from Bellingham, Washington. Hello, Quinley. CJ Harris is here from Pearland. Awesome. Nice. Okay. That's the trickiest part about the whole drawing. From here on in, guess what? You guys are golden. We're going to draw all the leaves, the flowers, the patterns on your chameleon. And what I'm going to have you do is watch me first. So I'm going to show you a few tricks, and then I'll stop and I'll read, I'll kind of do something else. I'm not really sure. Get ready for the paint, and then I'll let you finish, and then we'll paint together. Okay? So the way I want to finish this, I want to take, I love, the chameleon doesn't really have a lot of spikes. It's actually pretty small, depending on the type of chameleon, but I do want to add some spikes. I think it adds a lot of fun to your painting, and I kind of want to give him a little beard. I don't really know if he has a beard, but I want to give him one. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to come way over here by his mouth, and I want to draw a line that goes underneath the feet. It's kind of like there's no like specific direction, but you hop over the tail, and then you're going to come down just like that. Now that's going to be the tree branch, but before I draw the other side of the tree branch, I want to draw a nice big leaf. I'm going to do that again so you can see how I did it. Start at whatever point you want, and then I want you to draw a curved line. Then go to the very tip and make a wobbly, wobbly, wobbly line, go through the stem and make another wobbly line. And those are really big leaves. So I'm going to make some patterns or stems, some veins. Now I want a big flower here because I like to add a little color to my artwork, and I want a really big flower. So I want to add a flower here. The bigger the flower and the bigger the leaves, the smaller the chameleon will look. Because we know leaves aren't that big. I'm going to draw my flower, and I think I'll draw another flower just coming off the page here. Just there. And I can draw another leaf right here. And that looks like a lot. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to come back here. I want to draw the other side of the tree. And I want to hop over the legs. It gets a little confusing because you have a lot of lines happening now. Just like that. And then I'm done. So you go ahead and finish up the tree branch and all the leaves or the flowers or whatever else you want to put in your picture. And I'm going to add some decorations to my chameleon. In fact, I'm going to look at this book and see all the different stripes, what's possible. He doesn't seem to have polka dots, mostly stripes. Ooh, but look at this. Look at the pattern in this guy. He has like a kind of like a rainbow effect. So I have some ideas. Maybe I'll draw this line that goes this way. Okay, that looks pretty good. I am ready to start painting, so go ahead and finish up all of your drawings. Sandra says, this is so fun. I know, Sandra, I'm with you. I'm having fun too. I love this. Now guys, I do have watercolors that I'm using. And just like we did with our chameleon, the smaller chameleon, I'm using this kind of watercolor. See how it comes out in little pans here? They're kind of like flopping around. But if you have this kind of paint, this was kind of opaque watercolor, and so for the kids, don't worry about it. But what that means is that it's just a little bit less transparent. You don't see through it as much, so it's more colorful. So you might have these, and that's really good. You might have another type of paint. So all the different kinds of paints that you have, that's good. You can also, if you want to, use some of your oil pastels or even crayons. So I'm going to take a crayon, and I absolutely love this dandelion yellow, And maybe I'll color parts of the chameleon. When you color over black oil pastel, it kind of smushes together. And you might think, oh, I don't like that. It looks dirty. Do you know what I like? It looks like it has shadows or contours. It looks like I'm a professional artist, and I'm not. I just like how it blends together. It kind of gives a whole new color. So if your crayons or oil pastels kind of mush together, it's kind of fun to see what happens that way. If you don't like that, then you can just paint it. The paint won't blend in with the oil pastel. Okay, I like that. Okay, kids, I'm using a medium-sized brush to start, and I have big decisions to make. I have to decide what color am I going to paint my chameleon. I think I really want purple. I have this kind of like a dark purple here, and I'm going to test out the color. Ooh, I like that. If you wanted it a little bit more pink, you could add more, you can mix it with some red. Let's see what that would look like. Ooh, I like that too. The best thing about paint, you can keep changing your mind and you can do any kind of color that you want. And the best thing about a chameleon, you can make it any color you want. You guys know that, right? So I can't wait to see your pictures because I'm dying to see what colors you chose. Okay, I'm going to continue painting my little stripes, and you guys get out your paints when you're finished up your drawing, and you can start painting too. I feel like we should have like a musical interlude, or maybe a cookie or something. Okay. There we go. Really like that. Now the big decision, what color will I paint the inside? I think I'm going to go with blue. I have this light blue here. So what I'm doing, I'm going around and around until I see the color on my brush. Then I know I have enough paint color. Ooh, look at this blue, guys. This is really pretty. The darker, oops, oh, that drip looks really cool. If you, oh, you know what? Some people don't like drips, but they can actually make a really cool pattern. So go around a little bit slowly around your pattern areas, and just like we did before, if you feel like your paintbrush is getting a little dry or there's not enough color, just add more water and a little bit more paint. Swirl it around just a little bit longer and really get into the details, the little tiny sections. Go around the big areas, and then you can paint the insides a little faster. Now remember, this is watercolor paint. That means watercolor paint loves water. So you do really want to mix your paint with water. Make sure your brush has water in it. And then the color goes on so smoothly. Now I'm not even using watercolor paper. So the paint is kind of soaking in a little bit. And it's not sitting on the surface. So it doesn't mix or blend with other paints as much. But if you have watercolor paper, if your family has some watercolor paper at home and you're using that now, your artwork is going to be even more bright if you use this watercolor paint. And if you're coloring in with a crayon or markers, your colors are really nice and bright because you can color nice and slow and make it darker or lighter depending on how much you press on your crayons. So I'm going to just finish up my painting, and I'm going to allow you guys to finish up your chameleon. Then we'll come back and we'll do some of the leaves together. This is so fun. I'm so glad you're with me today. We get to do this art together, and I'll do it again tomorrow if you want to join me. And I'll pick a new lesson and I'll post it on the Facebook page. And you can see, you get all of your art supplies ready. I'm wondering if you have a request. Is there something that you would like to paint or learn how to draw? And if you have a request, you can get your parents or you can type it into the comments section and I can consider it. Okay, so my chameleon is violet and turquoise and blue. So what color is yours? Dying to know. I can't see yours. You can see mine, but I can't see yours. Okay, now I want to paint all of my leaves. I'm going to switch to a bigger paintbrush because I want it to hold a lot of paint. Look how big my paintbrush is. And I want to paint my leaves really quickly. Oops, and did you see that big dribble? It's going all the way down my whiteboard. I wish it was on my artwork. Okay, so now I'm going to paint this one. There's a little bit of two colors in here. I went light green and dark green. I'm kind of just smushing it around. And I'll do this one up here too. Now, you can go back to your leaves, and I hope you can see this. I'm just gonna, we could go in just a little bit more. And you can make some parts of your leaves a little bit darker using a darker color. Now, let me just see. I just wanted to move that a bit. There we go. Okay, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just going around one side. Okay. Now I want to get out a really bright color. I think this, gosh, I really like this purple for my flower. But this time I'm going to mix it with some red. Got lots of really pretty drips. That kind of tells me that my paintbrush is a little bit wet. Maybe I can not add as many drops of water to my palette. And I'm just painting over, so you can put one layer of watercolor down and then you can add another. Okay, now I'm going to do this beautiful brown for my, oops, I can tell that's going to drip. It's ready to drip, guys. Oh, I have to be fast. I just painted over his feet. Don't you do that. That's a mistake, but it's not a bad mistake. It just, he has brown feet now. That's okay too. Okay, now I'm just using this brown right from my palette. But I want to show you something. I try to get into all of those little areas. If you take another color, not black, sometimes black is really powerful and it kind of dominates your colors. But if you take maybe a little bit of this purple and put it over top of the brown, it looks like a dark shadow. So black is not my color of choice to do that with, but if you just do a color that's kind of opposite, even a blue, it makes it darker, and the purple is really pretty. So I don't have a whole lot of water on my brush, so it's not dripping too much. I'm just painting over the brown, just in those little areas. Okay, guys. Boys and girls, I loved hanging out with you. I absolutely loved it. I'm going to go ahead and finish my background, and I want you to finish your chameleon. Whether you're coloring with crayons, whether you're painting with watercolor, go ahead and finish them up. And then if you can take a picture, I would love to see it. Have the adult that's around you post it in the comments, and then maybe we can share it when I go do my art tutorial tomorrow. And if you have an idea, oh, someone said Kushi wants to draw a unicorn. Oh, that's a good idea. An elephant. Okay, blue and pink. Love that. A peacock or a snail, tropical fish, butterfly, another unicorn. I love butterflies. Bunnies, ladybug. Ooh, Nathaniel, I love that. A llama or a cow. Oh my gosh, so many good ideas. We could actually do a lot of these in the next coming weeks. So maybe tomorrow I'll pick one, and then on Monday we can do another one. How does that sound? Okay. Oh, I saw someone say a bear, I think. Did I see a bear? Okay, guys. Well, I want to see your pictures so you can share with Deep Space Sparkle on Instagram. You can share your pictures right here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. and we'll be drawing something new. And today I'll post a picture of what we're going to be drawing, and then you can join me tomorrow. So kids, you guys have a really nice day. Be good to your parents, be kind, and keep on creating and painting. And I'll see you tomorrow.